Greetings everyone, welcome back to Factory Town and to the Fire Temple, where we are going to be making some fire crystals in today's episode. I have already gone to the effort of setting up the barn off camera, so we don't need to go through the rigmarole of that on camera, and we are prepped for researching fire purification. Ooh, we have some blue crystals still in the network. Aren't those due to be removed? There is a connection there in this mana pipe. There should not be one. Let's make sure that this extracts outwards. Also, I definitely want this one to be fire from now on. Also, oops, that is not what I wanted to do. Let me make that one fire as well. There we go. Right. Now, the way that we will remove this is, I believe, maybe if I remove that completely? No. No, it seems that the system's a little bit jammed there. So if we move this crystal... There we are. The water crystals are being pushed into the school, but the school is discharging them because they're in storage rather than in input, and the grabber will pull from storage. This little system here will allow us to, ideally, empty the school of anything it shouldn't have, and push whatever's left back out into the network. So there we go. That's all taken care of. Now, we're going to need to do a little bit of prep work over here. The nearest firestones are over there. That's not too far away, all things considered. But we may need to make this a bit of a less severe climb. Alternatively, we could set up a mine just over here. That might be a little bit of a better option because it would require one person rather than two to make that work. Sure. Okay, let's go ahead and start adjusting the terrain just a little bit. I'm going to need to pull this block down until this is level and a little bit more besides. There we go. That'll allow us to remove the the fire crystals out of the network, if you like. Over on this side, I'd actually like to lift this up just slightly so I can have a silo built right here. Let's start putting things down as we're going to need them. So silos, we will want, well, two. One here for the ether and one over here for the finished crystals. I guess, given that, then we will go ahead and just flatten the train up there as well. There we go. And this one will be for the regular mana crystals. Okay, so we're going to want chutes. Chutes everywhere. Now over here it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome, but I think we should be able to make something interesting looking of it. We're going to have to use grabbers to remove from here, but that should be fine. There, and in fact there. Now, let me just make sure that these are turned in a direction where they won't normally interact. Otherwise, it can get a little bit weird with grabbers. And that's definitely not something we want to see. Right, so there we are. Grabbers pulling out there and there. Perfect. Right, so theoretically, this will be full of earth ether. This one will be full of mana crystals. This will eventually output, but only when it been told it's allowed, and we are going to want a mana transmitter here to accept that. We're going to want another grabber, but this one will be hooked up to the delta for our fire crystals. There we go. So that one will eventually prevent that from discharging, or rather releasing the stored up fire crystals if the silo has anything in it, and that implies this barn is full of fire crystals at that stage. Okay, so the next part in the puzzle would be the mana reactor, and although it would make things a lot easier, you know what? Let's go ahead and set up. Sure, there's no reason not to. Let's do something like this. We can have all of this set up. We'll have some supports there, some stronger supports. You know what? Actually, let's go. Be a little bit more creative. Let's make it look a little bit nicer, shall we? I think we should. We're going to have stone walls. There we go. With some wooden supports running underneath. There we are. For no particular reason that I feel a little artistic right now. Right. Oh, can we not place this down? Oh, that's a bit of a disappointment, I'll be honest. Oh. Well, there goes my beautiful idea. Damn it, game. Why you gotta be like this? Okay, well, let's see if maybe it was just that I didn't have solid foundations. Perhaps that was it. Perhaps that's the only problem that we had going on there. Let's try that again then. And go for the elemental. There we go. Elemental refinery in place. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to want you to... Ooh, water booster at the elemental refinery. Very well. Wasn't expecting that. Okay. Well, we're going to want to start bringing over some firestones. So let's make a little area for that one as well. Once again, I want... Yeah, let's go ahead and use supports for this. So one there. And bring these up to the same sort of level. Once again, all the way up to the same sort of level. Actually, let's change the bottom one into just poles. Again, I want to be creative. I like being artistic when I do stuff like this. It's not my fault. We're going to want the stone walls once more. Although a stone bridge would technically work. Don't question the logic of building a stone slab support on top of wood. That's been done for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it hasn't. Actually, it's resulted in loads of things falling. Don't question it anyway. I don't believe things can collapse in this game, though. I am completely okay with being proven wrong. Oh, really? Why is that? Oh, it seems that the terrain here is very, very glitchy. Wow, that's a little bit of a problem, because the whole point of me doing this was to not mess with the terrain. Oh, alright then, fine. Let's lower the terrain down. That's going to be boring, but let's see if that has helped us out. It may have. We could just search. I could just type in mine there, it would be a little bit faster. No. Well, that's actually deeply, deeply dissatisfying, I will confess. Alright. We could build it up a little bit more, I guess. Or I could just do away with that idea in its entirety and just be sad. Let's go ahead and grab my tools, terrain block down. Let's just see if this will at all affect this. Can I pull this down? At all. I can't affect this. Of course. Because that tile had something built on it. I keep forgetting that particular little gem there. It's not one I am especially fond of, I must confess, but well. Sure, we can still build up the stone foundation though, I think. Let's get this all the way up. There we go. Now, will this allow me to build a mine? A mine with solid foundations, which is not exactly what you want from a mine. No, it still doesn't. For some reason, there are 2 tiles, believe there. Oh well, I've done my best to try and build up an interesting structure here. We're just going to have to... you saw me. I struggled for this. It didn't work, so we're just going to brute force it and do this instead. There we go. That should work. I really hope. If that doesn't work, I'm going to be kind of surprised, but on the plus side, because I'm recording this, I'll be able to deliver the bug report in video form, which I can only assume is helpful. I like to imagine it's helpful. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and let that mine these firestones for now without any kind of replenishment, but in the future, we probably will set that up. Let's get an archway there and there as well. Well, maybe not there. Let's actually build a regular support here. Now, that does actually need to come down a little bit, so that's pretty cool. We can probably get a fair old wallop of speed going if we just do this. There we are, and build that up all the way until we get here. We'll build an arch and then out as a regular platform. Yeah, we'll replace this one as well, just for the sake of consistency in the design. There we go. And with that, we can pull this all the way down. It'll speed up a little bit, and then we can use control to pull out the chute design all the way along. We will add in some support over here though, and indeed down here as well. There we go. just so it looks a little bit better. Over here, we don't strictly need this, but we'll build it out like that anyway. All the way out to... Sure, that would be fine. I guess. Let's make sure it is lined up correctly. Yeah, we could have it doing this. We could have this feeding in this direction. That should be fine. Though, oh my lord. That bridge is... Wow. Honestly, I think an engineer might really enjoy doing this kind of work. I know I would. It's the sort of work that it might be your life's work, building a bridge like that. It would be an awful lot of work, though. And so there is a lazy part of me that is like, why can't we just not have a bridge? Why don't we just follow the contour of the land instead of building this rickety old thing? But it's the unadventurous part of me. That's the boring part of me. Right, I know. Me have a boring part? What is this? Let's bring all of this down until we're roughly on the level. And then we will move forward with that. We're going to get rid of these resources. Now, yes, I am spending a fair bit of time right now just basically beautifying this area, which is completely surplus to demand, I'll be honest with you. But nevertheless, I do find it quite engaging to do. So I'm going to do it. We want this to come all the way down and meet it at that level, I think would be fine. There we go. And let's just fit you in there. Perfect. Actually, yeah, we do want it to come fully down and be flush with this level. Sure. And we'll have... Well, in that case, we'll just have the arches. I kind of like those more than the full blocks for some reason when they're on ground level. They look more interesting this way. Right, there we go. And in we go. Perfect. That'll keep this running for quite some time. Now, we do need to set up the mana crystal power network over here. Now, I'm thinking of doing this in a bit of a different way. Now, normally, we would have it just split off from the trunk of our mana network, and that would just kind of clog up over time. What I'd like to do differently this time is to use this silo to activate the pusher and pull the mana down here only when this silo has room in it. But when that mana gets here, some of it will be removed and sent over to a transmitter, which will then feed this. So let's set up something along those lines. We're going to need a mana transmitter. And there we go. We will want... honestly, we could have the whole setup just down here. Sure, we could. We will need the mana receiver. Now, I've just realized what I'm doing. I do apologize. I just realized that I'm stuck in my head again, and I'm not explaining what I'm trying to do as I'm doing it. Okay, the goal here is to have this silo top up the recharge supply only when that's needed, and only request mana crystals from the main mana network when this silo is below a certain amount of stock, so that we're not just sending mana crystals down the pipeline leading to this temple unless there's actually a need for it. Now, the mana crystals will be consumed down here, so there will occasionally be a need. But the idea is that I would very much like the recharge to be able to just top itself up from time to time, but otherwise not have to interact with the main mana network at all. Since we're going to be pulling the mana crystals, the default mana crystals, if you like, down here anyway, it makes sense to do it like this. Now, the thing is, we're going to need to bring this receiver and... we are actually going to want to feed some of the mana crystals back in here. This is a tricky one. This is a very tricky one, actually. I may have another mana receiver, I guess, since we do actually need to transfer the mana crystals from the pipe network into this silo to begin with. That isn't as elegant as I would have liked. Though, if we just make a slight adjustment over here, we should be able to make that work. So, okay, let's do that then. I'm going to want to lift the terrain there a little bit. That wasn't actually what I wanted. Damn it. Let's bring that down twice. There we go. And over here as well. Bring all of this down to this sort of level. There we go. That will work, I think. Now then, we are going to want to have... Yeah, we're going to have to move around a fair bit of this, but that should be fine. I could have this feeding direct down into the transmitter over here. I could have another receiver just behind it then. It's not as elegant a solution as it could be. The alternative is to have just one receiver that feeds into this silo, which then feeds out to the transmitter here, and the discharge mana is actually in that now. You know what? It's going to be a little bit more of a potch, but I actually like the idea of and the challenge of setting this up. So I am going to have to ask your patience with me while I do this. I know doing this live is not as entertaining, but it is quite fun for me at the very least. Hopefully that's enough for you. All right, there we go. Right, we'll supply the mana in there, and then I would like, when it is discharged mana, we will have this right there. We can have, sure, we'll have a splitter actually peel that off in this direction, like so. That actually looks nice to me. I'll be honest, that does look quite pretty. I could have the splitter peel that off in this direction down here. Let's have a look. I would like this one to push in here. All right, let's go for a couple of logistics blocks. No, not a grabber. I would like a pusher in this direction, but the only type of crystal over here should be a discharged crystal. So depleted mana. There we go. So that'll go down to the recharger. I will have to just adjust the positioning here a little bit. That should be fine. Right, we'll have this one facing this direction, this one facing this direction. There we go. Now we are cooking with fire, as the saying goes. There we are. And over here, there we are. This should work, I hope. We are going to need two computation blocks. I would like to check the inventory of this transmitter. If this transmitter is ever has any kind of backstuffing going on, if there's any kind of content in here, I want to shut down this exit point. So if I grab the blocker right here, then that should... Oh, well, alternatively, let me have a look. There is one other thing that I haven't yet used, and that's this barrier gate. It kind of looks cool, I think. Right there. So this will empty out some crystals in here, but if this ever has... Let's have a watch of this. I'm going to need to see how this works. Is it just based on a toggle? Because my ideal would be if this is true, so there is an inventory here, then this is down. So let's hook that up. On, off. Okay, so that isn't going to work the way I would like it. That's a bit of a shame, because that would have actually been quite cool. Never mind, we'll have the blocker tile right there. If this ever has anything in it, then it should shut down this blocker. There we go. And that will prevent any further contents from leaving the silo. Okay, so how are we going to set this up? Well, once we've got mana down here, I would like the mana to flow into this pipe, enter this area, and then flow back up to the receiver over here. And the receiver should be fed from the main mana network all the way down there. Let's get that all the way in. The transmitter should send fire mana back into the network. Now, down here, I'm going to want to make sure that this only summons mana when this is empty, completely empty. Now, if I were to build this compute block on this layer, I can interact with anything else on this layer, including pushers. If, however, I was to build this block down here, on the outside of this this zone, if you like. So I put this here. I can't connect up to anything in particular on this layer, I don't think. There we go. I can offset it down here like so, but for example, this one, I can't cause this one to oh, actually, I know I can cause it to connect. That's interesting. Oh, that's correct. Yes, the mana pipes. Sorry. I'm tripping over my words. If I put a pusher here, it is only visible on this layer. So I pop that there. If I go down here, that is invisible now. So I can't force this to interact. But logic blocks exist even if they're built on the mana pipe layer or the steam pipe layer for that matter. So I can cause this one to interact. So if there's ever something in here, I want this to... Well, I want it to be inversed, so we'll have to use a Boolean block. Bool function. Want this to be not. There we go. So this should feed in there, and then this should in turn feed over here to the pusher. There we go. And I want a simple filter right there, set to only allow mana crystals through, and only charged mana crystals at that. So there we go. Charged mana crystal on its way. This whole system should ideally work. We'll see. The moment this arrives, we should see that go through straight in there. Now that is turning it off from time to time. There we are. That was a discharged item of mana, so that should feed through momentarily. There we are. That is blocked. Sorry, that is turned off currently, because this isn't actually backing up. So there we go. We're seeing a lot of this mana coming down. We'll need to wait until this actually works up. Now, this will trigger if there's anything in here. If there's anything in this system, it will block anything more from being sent down. Now, that is not strictly what we want, but it is a good way of seeing it. Now, that blocker is turned on because there was something in there. There we go. It's turned on again. So these are actually starting to store. There we go. Now, I don't want this to ever completely run dry. So what we're going to do is, instead of having the not there, we're going to use a math block instead. Let's grab a math block. Oh, no, we're going to have to get rid of that specifically. So the math block should be fed there. If the inventory here is less than... Well, I do want that silo to be mostly full, so we'll say less than 50. Then, because there's going to be time for the mana that's in the pipe, so I'm going to use a number that's a bit lower. If it's less than 50, then I would actually like that to be turned on. But if it grows greater than 50, then it'll shut down. Now, we can already see down here, this should already be full, actually. Yep, there we are. It's already got a fair bit of backlog, so it's not going to request any more from this. So this can just happily fill up for now, and we should be good. There we are. That is actually awesome. And we are pushing red mana back out into the system. Ah, fantastic. Fire crystals are entering the system. This is grand, and we will continue to pull the mana crystals down here until this gets to around 50, which might take quite some time, if I'm perfectly honest. That may take quite a while. Let's have a look over here. How much are we pushing into the system? Because we're using it up reasonably fast, if I'm honest. Oh, actually, that being said, we have stockpiled 15 in the temple itself. I forgot that the temple had a bit of a buffer, so maybe we could have this if there's anything in there. But for the time being, I think I'm happy with the way the system is right now. In fact, if I really wanted to, I could get rid of this silo altogether and have this as the buffer. So it would be reading the contents of the transmitter instead. But the problem with that is it would read the... it would eventually get blocked with mana, possibly. and that would be a problem for my recharging. So I think I would prefer to avoid that one if possible. But we should see a lot of mana being just siphoned off for a little while. Lots of the other mana production will be halted while that's happening, but it'll eventually correct. Now, how are we doing over here? We're up to 22. That's not too bad. It'll take a little while. It will take a fair bit of time for this to properly prime the production over here, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So while that's going on, how about we head on over and start production of some healing herbs? I think that would be quite lovely. Right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is, unfortunately, remove an awful lot more resources. So goodbye resources. Yes, I know, it's terrible. We are going to want some of the fish here to be separated out. I wonder, can fish out? I don't think fish can move on a chute, but let's just check. No, it absolutely cannot. Am I surprised? No, not even slightly. We will draw some of this to the side. Actually, I could just use a grabber and pull out from here, which is a little bit better. But having the splitter there means that I would... if I put this in this direction, I can prioritize the kitchen, which is ultimately what I would like to do. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's prioritize the kitchen where possible. There we go. That works quite nicely. Now we are going to need another kitchen, which is going to start production of the ointments, which we could place. Let's move the kitchen a little bit further up so that we can place a farm nearby. In fact, let's put this kitchen right over here, since this is going to be the final component in this. There we go, and in we are. I would like this to first produce fish oil and then produce ointment out of it. Now, this is going to take a bit of time. It's always going to be held back a little bit by the production of fish oil. We could have two separate kitchens making fish oil in order to have the ointments produced at its maximum speed, but I don't necessarily think that that's required. Though, if we wanted to, well, we could use the ointment to make something a little bit better, couldn't we? If we have a look down here, ointment and cloth would allow us to make medical wrap. No, I think we should be good with that. We will just produce the ointment. I think that is probably a better choice there. Now, I will want this... Ooh, well dread. It's not strictly what I wanted there. I should have been more specific. I want only ointment drawn out of this. So let's go and find ointment. There we are. Perfect. Then we can place this down. There we go. And we are going to want to set this up, but in time. For now, that's not going to be necessary. We are going to need healing herbs, and over here, we should be able to just about fit in a workshop without too much problem. Let's pop a workshop down right there, and this one can be set up to produce, where are we? We would want cloth, and the cloth to be turned into a poultice with some healing herbs. Actually, we want cloth turned into bandages. Now, the cloth made out of cotton would take 4 seconds. The bandage, well, eventually we would catch up because this would take longer. But everything we tell this to do is going to take a little bit more time. Ultimately, we're never going to be able to produce that at a particularly high speed, so I'm not going to worry over much about it, but this is not a particularly efficient way of setting this up. Because everything is going to link into the next thing. There we go. Once again, we are going to want a grabber, as we only want to remove... Oh, that's not what we want to remove. The poultice. There we are. Okay, so now we are going to want cotton and herbs delivered, and over here, just herbs. So a wee farm should be all we need. Let's go ahead and get you down. Now, how much of a farm? Well, we could have the farms, 2 farms feeding this, but I'm not sure we're going to need that, honestly. But let's build with the possibility of that in mind. For the time being, though, I don't think it's going to be necessary. So farm tile, let's build this out. And finally, right, what do we want? We want plant herbs. Oh, that is a little bit more than I meant, but that's fine. Let's get rid of some of these. There. Oh. All fingers and thumbs today. I do apologize. So bring that down. This brush is more damage than it's worth. Alright, plant a cotton right there. There we go. So cotton and herbs all growing for this wee farmer to take advantage of. There we are. Now these are going to take 2 seconds. That's going to take 3 seconds. So honestly, I think the little amount that we've got there will probably be enough. We are going to want herbs delivered here and indeed here, and then cotton delivered further on. So let's get the... well, we could have 2. Sure. Something like that. And I'm not entirely certain this is going to work, but let's see if it does. If not, then that's fine. Let's set that up. In fact, if we tell this that it can only store... Look, I don't think cotton's ever going to move like that. Let's be honest with ourselves. Herbs, possibly. Cotton, really? Let's have a look. Do herbs move? Herbs do move on the chute, okay. Color me surprised. Cotton, though? I think that's asking for a lot, frankly. Also, we're starting to encroach just on the edge of where we can build houses. Should be okay, but it's a bit of an interesting one, that. Let's have these being split there. So I'm going to want a grabber for herbs first. Herbs with a H. There we are. And cotton down here. There we go. And that should be ready. Now let's make sure that this is split evenly, though. Yeah, the cotton does move down the chute. Well, there we are. Like I said, color me surprised. There we go. And we should start seeing the ointment being produced. Now, the herbs are being fed in slowly, but especially because it's having to feed 2 separate areas. That is a bit of a pain. The cotton, not so much. The cotton, in fact, is actually stockpiling quite quickly. We could, in fact, get away with one farm just producing, just working the cotton while the other one is working the herbs. That may be worth our time to do. If we would like to, I think it may well be worth it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do another farm, because we definitely need more herbs being produced. That is just nowhere near fast enough. We could have one there, and then another one here, like so. Now this one could just gather cotton, and then these 2 could gather herbs. I think that would be fine. So let's plant this down. Some cotton around there. Some herbs down the side, like so. That should be okay. Right, from now on, I only want you to be gathering herbs. No more cotton for you. Oh, there we go! The Fire Shrine, new structure unlocked, magic rails, a new recipe unlocked, the Omni Stone, a powerful stone crafted from all 4 purified elemental crystals. New recipe unlocked, strength book, new research for the mana reactor, and new research fire booster. Now, the first thing I want to check, do forges have fire? Yes, they do. Okay, everything makes sense. Everything in the world makes sense. The kitchen have fire? They do. How marvelous. Oh, that setting up the extraction of that is nasty. Don't like the idea of having to do that. But oh well. Let's go ahead and just smarten up some of the production around here. I don't think we're going to need much cotton for this area, so I'm not going to have much of it growing. I could be wrong, and if so, well, that's me being dumb. Actually, yeah, we'll pop a little bit more cotton down there as well. So a wee bit of cotton down here as well. But the rest of this should be herbs. There we go. All the way around. And Well, since we're not going to be pulling the cotton from here, I can set that up quite nicely there. I mean, in fact, I can rotate this around since it's only going to be pulling cotton. Let's set that one up. There we go. And then we are going to remove all of this from down here. In fact, now that we are only pulling herbs from this, there is no reason to have the grabber there. Likewise, well, it's going to be a little bit more of a pain over on this side, so let me just adjust that. I'm going to need to pull this terrain down just ever so slightly. There we are. This can, in turn, feed in there. And the cotton can just be removed from a higher elevation. There we go. And we will have... there we are, archways all the way down. There we go. And then 2 slopes, and we should be good. I will need a grabber on this side, but that should be fine. Only one of the farms is going to need a grabber. There we are, perfect. And then this one can be set up with herbs as well. They should all be pulling the herbs out now. There we go. Perfect. I approve. We can set up a little bit more of a farm around here as well if we really want to. And I guess I kind of do. Sure. Yes, it's going to be kind of a mixture of herbs and cotton all over the place, but that's fine. There's no reason why that we can't allow that. There we are. Now this should be producing a decent amount of poultices. There we go. Poultices are being extracted. Glorious. Okay, so the final thing we need to do is set all of this up to extract it via a cart. There we are. Excellent. Now we are going to need the blockers hooked up, the inventory centers hooked up, the math block hooked up. There we go. The bool function down here, the inventory sensor there. Let's set these up now. Not. Oh, I haven't actually copied those over. My bad. And not. I want the inventory sensors offset. I want them on the same tile where the pusher is going to exist. There we go. And offset. Oops. No, that is correct. Ah, right, there we are. That was my problem there. Right, activate the pushers. There we go. Now then, this one needs to be just offset into the silo. Same here. Feeding into the math block. If there's less than 20. There we go. Then that one can feed in there. Likewise, if there's less than 20. Done, connect it up. There we are. The moment anything goes through there, it'll update this one. And there we are. Oh, wow. That one was actually quite full. Excellent. Bunch of new items being delivered. And we've also finished our fire research. This has actually been an incredibly good episode. We've managed to get quite a lot of things done. Our town should be pretty happy with this, though that is a little bit in the way. But honestly, I'm starting to feel that the town is not going to expand out this far. I strongly suspect that we're not going to need that. Now, let's have a watch of this. And there we go. We should see some very happy houses. Yes, we're all the way up to 7 on some of them. Oh, this is glorious. Super duper. All the way up to 8. Super duper happy. This is amazing. We haven't even got cakes over here. Ah, this is grand. We're doing a good job right now. We're up to 306 happiness. So all of our buildings are gaining a plus 300% production there. Right. Final research will be the mana reactor. All we need to provide for this one is an enormous amount of purple coins and just regular mana crystals and lots of research. Okay, fair enough. Right, so we're going to want to switch this up. This needs to be turned... actually, this pusher needs to be turned off. And this needs to accept regular mana crystals. There we go. And that should be good. And once we set this up to research a mana reactor, all of the fire crystals... Oh, they've already actually been extracted. That's brilliant. But the problem now is that we're probably really pulling a lot of white mana out of the system. How are we doing over here? Not terrible, but it's going to take some time for this to properly build up. The whole system over here, though, is working. Oh, wait. Wait now. Ah, we have got a jam. That isn't good. That isn't good at all. That is a discharged mana crystal, I do believe. Yeah, those are discharged mana crystals. The whole system is now jammed. Well, my hope was to prevent that from happening. Is that full? No, it isn't. So why not? It can't pull the discharged mana crystal. Okay, well, it seems that this system could do with a little tiny bit of refining. I am actually quite pleased with it all the same, but it does need a little bit more work. So let's first flatten down over here. There we go. And indeed, lower this block if we can. Right there. Of course, we're not going to be allowed to. The game can be a little bit finicky sometimes. There we go. And I would like that filtering all the way down, please. Nope, all the way out. There we are. I'm going to want a grabber that will only pull out discharged crystals on this side. Depleted mana. Well, that is true. Yeah, it is a depleted mana crystal, so that will work. I was going for discharged elements entirely, but that's fine. Now, the problem here is this is now full of... oh, actually, no. No, that doesn't seem to have caused any problem. Interesting. Well, that's fine, I suppose. Let's remove that for the time being. Is that a depleted mana crystal? Or is it just a shadow? I honestly can't quite tell. Either way, it looks like the system is working again. Now, let's have a quick look. See, the system is, however, starting to back stuff. Not the best system, to be fair. How is this doing? Well, actually, no, this will gradually just empty out into the transmitter, and the transmitter will, as it goes, push more mana through. So it's possible that this is fixed. A little bit hard to tell, but that is completely stuffed all the way back. Now, that shouldn't be happening. Let's go and have a look at you. Are you actually reading? Well, technically, yes, it's still less than 50. The problem is that is this all... okay, we needed a grabber here, only allowing out regular mana crystals. There we go. Let's remove all of that. There we are. The system should be fixed. Ugh, that was unfortunate, but that's fine for now. Let's allow this system to fill up. There's a lot of white mana in the backlog, though. That is going to cause me some problems, but there we are. The problem was that we were allowing the mana to go the wrong way, and it was clogging the chute. That was the issue there, but that's fine. We managed to address that problem before it became too much of an issue for us. Let's have a look at our houses. Yeah, generally 6s, 7s, some 8s. So 6 is now the lowest happiness we've got. That's a pretty good place to be, I must say. Very happy with that, personally. We are producing these materials fairly slowly, though. Perhaps if we had a separate workshop working on the cloth, that wouldn't be too bad, but honestly, it doesn't seem that it's really slowing us down that much. We could add one final adjustment that may help us out a little bit, and that would be to add in a steam pipe across all of these. There we go. That may or may not help. Yeah, we've still got plenty of steam power there. So that will have increased this up to 410% with one single worker. That is actually quite good. The fish oil is being converted into ointment at a reasonable pace. Some more fish would probably be better. Fish there is fine. Yes, actually, I'm going to say we need another fishing boat. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Should be fine. The fish resources should replenish over time, but that should help out a fair old bit. And so we'll get plenty of ointment being delivered, and then along with a decent amount of poultices as well. We're not really worrying about coins at this point. It's not at all necessary for us. We've got more than enough for anything we could ever possibly want. The only thing that we're starting to lack is the white mana, though it does seem that has been fixed. The regular mana crystals are entering the system decently quickly, and we are, in fact, starting to stockpile fire crystals as well. So with that, I think this is a good place to wrap up the episode. I'm going to allow the system to run for just a little bit, because this research is going to take a long time, but I would very, very much like to get to the mining reactor. Look how slow this is. 20 mana crystals per. Oh my lord. It's going to take so long. Don't worry, you're going to get to skip that. I won't, but you can. You're welcome. But that's going to be it from me. So until next time, and as always, do take care, everyone.